Ganondorf, King of the Gerudo, is one of gaming's well-known villains and has faced against Link and Zelda throughout the series, whether that it was in his Gerudo form or in his beast form. One of the longest traditions that the Zelda series has used that isn't the hero and princess of the time stepping up to save the day is time travel, and it can be seen in various games like the Time Pedestal and Ocarina of Time, the Gate of Time and Skyward Sword, and Zelda using the Sacred Stone from Mario's hand in Tears of the Kingdom. Whenever time travel is used, it has been used by Link and Zelda to stop the main villain of that game from taking over the world, and as well as being used to awaken memories, as well as sacred power, or to time travel between 7 years into the future or the past. But what if it was used for evil? And what if it was used by Ganondorf?
We've seen consistently the use of time travel for the hero of Hyrule to defeat Ganondorf, but it's also a tool that the Gerudo King could use himself. Let's say that an incarnation of Link, Zelda, and Ganondorf are at their final confrontation. Ganondorf has been dealt enormous blows and is on the verge of defeat, and in a last-ditch effort, uses a form of time travel to evade death, perhaps through a Gate of Time or by means of the Ocarina of Time. Ganondorf would save himself by traveling to a future in a time of peace and prosperity, a time in which Hyrule knows nothing of the hardships wrought by Ganondorf, a time when the Hylians are extremely vulnerable. Ganondorf would find himself in an unknown land, reeling from near defeat and on the verge of death.
Battered, bruised, and on the verge of collapsing, Ganondorf is able to find himself a place to lay low so that he can heal himself. He tries to heal with his magic, but all he can do is heal a small cut on his arm, and Ganondorf realizes that not only has he lost almost all of his magic, but he also needs to wait for an unknown amount of time before his magic is back, but also his wounds heal before he is faced by Link and Zelda again. However, the era that Ganondorf is in hasn't given birth to them yet, and when Ganondorf learns this, he takes action and tries to learn as much information as possible about the land he's in, as well as the possibility of who the sages are, because with their power, Ganondorf can regain his former power again and take over Hyrule.
Within this time of research, Link and Zelda are born, and within time are able to hone their powers, with Link able to wield a sword with ease, and Zelda able to use her sacred power. Fearing he's running out of time, Ganondorf comes to the idea that if he wants the power of the sages, he'll need to interact with them and gain their trust. When he hears about Link being given a ceremony for becoming a Knight of Hyrule, Ganondorf, now disguised as a trustworthy traveler looking for more knowledge, talks to Link, and Ganondorf can see the boy striving for greatness and wanting to become a protector, but still lacking the skill and courage befitting a hero of Hyrule.
Ganondorf takes the opportunity to mentor the boy and shape who he is, gaining his trust and becoming a parental figure to Link. Through training with Ganondorf and honing his abilities, Link eventually awakens to the Triforce of Courage, a response from the goddesses to defeat the evil that would soon plague Hyrule. Little does Link know that it is the same man who has trained him and developed him as a warrior that seeks to cause harm upon the kingdom. Zelda sees this and is puzzled by the stranger because of the kindness he has been taken to Link.
With Link and Ganondorf learning from each other, Link is able to learn more sword techniques that he isn't able to learn quite as quickly, and will take several years to learn. Ganondorf is learning more about what kind of people the sages are and where they're all residing throughout Hyrule. Once the sages are found, Ganondorf uses his cunning abilities in deception and his powerful puppeting magic to gain control over the sages and brainwash them into following him, removing one of the biggest obstacles in his way of becoming the sole ruler of Hyrule.
With the sages under Ganondorf's control, he can feed Link lies and shape how Link views his role as the hero. Eventually, Ganondorf successfully convinces Link through the sages and himself that the real threat to Hyrule is actually the royal family. Under Ganondorf's direction and control, Link and the sages attack Hyrule Castle and the royal family. The enormous power of the sages, hero of Hyrule, and Ganondorf is too much for the kingdom to overcome, and Princess Zelda's abilities, as strong as they are, still haven't been trained and refined enough to defeat the assailants. Once Hyrule Castle is taken, Ganondorf, seeing no more use for Link, releases him from his control, and Ganondorf not only tells Link he was deceived, but also a part of the plan to not only get close to the sages, but also help them take over Hyrule Castle.
Devastated by this deception, Link is heartbroken and feels betrayed because he saw Ganondorf as an important mentor and feels responsible for letting him take over Hyrule and trick some of his closest friends. After seeing Ganondorf with the power of the sages take over Hyrule, Zelda goes to Kakariko village where Link is, who has almost lost the will to fight, and tells him that everything isn't lost and that they should find the Master Sword, as well as go into some of Hyrule's most dangerous dungeons if they want to not only stop Ganondorf, but free the sages of his spell.
After getting the Master Sword, Link and Zelda go into the dungeons that have the spirit of the sages before they return to Ganondorf's side. After each sage is freed, they are telepathically told by Zelda about the current situation and ask them to keep pretending to work for Ganondorf until Link and Zelda can make their way to Hyrule Castle, in which Ganondorf has remade in its own image. As soon as the last stage is free, Link and Zelda start heading to the castle, and this is when Ganondorf realizes the sages have been freed and have been aiding Link and Zelda to reach it.
While fighting their way through Hyrule Castle, Link and Zelda are greeted by the sages, and each one helps to create a shortcut to the final chamber. The closer and closer that Link and Zelda get, the angrier and more worried Ganondorf gets because this was the future that he had hoped to avoid. This is when the final fight happens, and Link and Zelda are able to take the final blow to Ganondorf, and his evil reign has come to an end.
First, say a big thank you to everyone who got to this part of the video, as well as if you want to add any comments on what your thoughts on what Ganondorf using Time Travel could look like. It will be really cool to see that, as well as a big thank you to Tyler Townsend for being in this video, as well as being a big help of making the video as a whole. I will be leaving links to his social media and his YouTube channel in the description below. And if you like this video, don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.